Anyway, I tried. Christmas is upon us, even though Bojo's canceling it in the UK, but I do wish everyone safety. Regardless, um, today I'm gonna approach a subject I kind of talk very often, but basically I like to challenge myself every once in a while and read someone else's views, and obviously that's how we grow. And uh, I remember I read somewhere a suggestion like you should also follow someone who you don't agree with, like on Twitter, to understand different opinions instead of getting in your own bubble. Regardless, um, I stumbled upon an non-binary person's Instagram, and it really opened my eyes to many things, specifically their arguments for gender non-conforming people. Now, um, it did make me question my general view on gender non-conforming people, uh, and I kind of learned, obviously, um, from a trans femme perspective. And yeah, I kind of they basically use a lot of academia to prove their points, and I also learned a lot about different cultures and etc. because they would cite literally everything. And I was also doing a paper last night about love and stuff, and it was literally just like about heterosexuals who are cis and monogamous, and it made me reflect a lot on masculinity as well. Uh, I guess I'll start with the paper because that is obviously more recent. Um, so basically, there is a study which was done on gay men about 10 years ago, I think, which is really nice because obviously, or was it 2015? Anyway, 2010 or 2015, I read a bunch of articles in academia for that paper. So basically, um, they cover a lot of topics like polyamory, gay relationship dynamics, why do men cruise so much, and the one which was the most interesting for me was the fact that um, men seek more, even if they do not fit the heterosexual view of how a man should look like. It was cis gay men as well, if I recall correctly. Even if they don't fit, they search for a more masked partner, and when they were presented uh, different people to find attractive, they would lean towards the white, more straight looking guy. And I think that it has to go also, we have to go back. Like, even if you look at random gay experiences, like, for some reason, American men seem to talk a lot about Walmart underwear models, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. As when they realized they were into men. So, and also in general, when you think about it, like for instance, there's a massive erasure of uh, sorry, not trans. Yeah, and all men who identify as male and act stereotypically gay. Um, and in general, even if the person embodies that stereotype, they still, for instance, like in Portugal here, everyone really kind of has the same buzz cut hair, and there are people who challenge that. Like, I've known quite a few cross dressers, and but ultimately, I would talk to them, I would understand them, and they gave me a lot of perspective to be myself. Like, and in general, I do enjoy talking to people who are trans, and any person who is trans and into makeup. Trust me, I will find you and we will talk about makeup. So basically, I always found it interesting that I could have some experiences which relate to that, because I only got to play with makeup at the same time when I was freer about my sexuality, and then my trans identity was realized. And it still makes me think certain things, like, because people kind of place a very sort of feminine or non-binary take on makeup, and even if trans guys uh, do makeup, they use it as a drag form. I don't mean to say that it's a bad thing if you use it for drag, because I still think that drag is is very influential. It has been there for fuck knows how long, and I support everyone who does it, and unless they're a turf. Anyway, so but people are really scared to like slap on makeup, and that's why I wanted to do minimal makeup, and I ended up like this. Yeah, and I added the earrings as well when I realized that minimal's never gonna happen with me today. So, and in general, so I kind of make a point of I always try, like, I'm gonna try minimal, and then I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna try this and that, and people don't really do that. Um, like, even looking at makeup, uh, with those who do identify as male and don't go like James Charles, uh, saying that, I can't remember. Anyway, he posed as a woman on Tinder, and then people called him out, and then he kind of said he was non-binary, and then he stopped. Anyway, I don't know. I really, you can't quote me on this. You can just say that he did list himself as female to get straight guys on Tinder, and he's a straight chaser. So yeah, there's the whole sort of uh, straight guy is the best because he's more masculine than the gay guy. And I find that really weird. Like, but at the same time, it can easily be explained when we go back to gay men when they. Sure, there's a lot of variety of gay men, but still, like, if we look back, um, like, there was, in my opinion, more culture than the cultured gay man average is pretty bad these days. Like, seriously, like, gay books are literally written by women and me. Mm, but yeah, and in general, fan fiction is seen as a shameful thing and a female thing, and that's kind of weird. I mean, there are plenty of guys and non-binary people writing fan fiction, but it's still mostly a female market. So yeah, and even if we go out of fan fiction with books and TV shows, right? Um, like, I consider myself well read because I was aiming to study English literature and become a teacher, but then everyone said, fuck you. you were not gonna earn enough, so I had to choose something else. And in general, I had a crisis about it recently, and then I kind of started poking things around because I like my degree, but I was really thinking, where do I go from there? So anyway, um, like I also have the privilege that in Portugal, people at least know Pedro Almodovar, who is a very famous, very famous, very influential, very important. If you haven't watched any of his movies, you should probably stop this video and go watch them. Seriously, man. Like, um, because he's Spanish, the Portuguese know at least some movies, so that's good. But in general, they're like, yeah, I've watched him, but I prefer like I don't know, Casa de Papel or some shit like that. I'm sorry, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I don't know how bad it is, but I assume it is bad. Yes, that's my sort of idea of it. So basically, it feels really strange because I remember when I was growing up, it was literally just fan fiction was accessible. To understand your sexuality, your identity, and like Kerouac and Burroughs books. Yes, it's tough growing up in Eastern Europe, trust me. And yeah, the Beat Generation had a massive influence on me. And I really hate how people kind of stepped over them. And right now, I read that someone's doing a movie about Burroughs' wife and how influential she was in the Beat movement. Yes, she was influential. And it's like, oh, she was an influential woman. And I remember reading a bunch of people saying, hey, but where's the woman here? And it's like, can you please just stay away from these queer men who actually write about queer experiences? And obviously, the three main were Ginsberg, Kerouac, and Burroughs. So when people like cite other people, I'm just like, who are you doing this for? Why are you raising the three who already are getting erased? So yeah, I really doubt. Oh, uh, like the most I can get in a conversation about culture is with older gay guys or bi people, non-binary, but in general, they still kind of are very rigid in consuming gay culture because everyone kind of wants to fit into this straight box. So, for instance, back in the day, people would watch Judy Garland, and gay people were often would call themselves "Are you a friend of Dorothy's?" to identify if the person is a lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans at the time. And Judy Garland meant a lot. And when you look now, like I remember when the activism thing awards started, and it was literally just like straight people standing up and saying, I support LGBT people, and they'd get an award for that. People would really call out and would cite, like, for instance, again, like Judy Garland. I'm really trying to make very kind of broad strokes in explaining culture. So yeah, it's really interesting that, and because they idolized Judy Garland and they could relate to her struggle with men, gay guys, um, that's what other things followed. Like, for instance, obsession with pop stars and everything. So pop stars, female pop stars, are mostly gay icons rather than gay men, and there's this whole idea that you should support women and everything and pander to women in LGBT circles. And it's like you can support women, but you can also support yourself, fella, you know? And in general, there's a lot of like weirdness. So what I'm really trying to say is that I feel like gay men are very uncultured these days, and they kind of tend to blend in with other guys, and I really don't get it. And in general, I think people kind of obviously stopped reading, and if they do read, it's literally crying to Harry Potter. If they are a TERF and then they're not a TERF, they're like, oh no, she's so bad, but Harry Potter is so fucking pure despite all the racism and stuff. Anyway, not even mentioning the transphobia. So people really kind of don't read, and it kind of bothers me because when I was growing up, um, even before I identified as a gay guy, I really looked up to gay men or queer guys. Like, I felt like they were the ones pushing culture. And I do understand that, like these days, if you see someone wearing makeup, it's literally, I'm 99% sure they're gonna identify as non-binary on some scale. Or gender non-conforming sometimes. But the problem with gender non-conforming is that, to me, and the more I see it, the more aggravated I get. Because it's literally used in turf rhetoric to say that you can be a woman and, I don't know, still take testosterone, use he, him, and be a lesbian. And it's like, really? So, or like if you go on R Butch Lesbians, they're all talking about transition and how they post on the FTM forums, sorry, subreddit, and it bothers me because people have this fixation. And in general, going back to trans guys, um, so it's kind of this society made that toxic masculinity that we're now faced with. So basically, everything is done really to reject any male. And people keep like suppressing guys to an extreme extent. And there's not a lot of guys which even feel secure in makeup. Like, even I feel insecure, and I understand that. Like, I grew out my hair during COVID. I started wearing makeup nearly every day, and nearly every time I go outside. Probably the only times I mostly don't wear makeup is when I go to the gym because I don't want it to, like, I don't want to lose my face, you know? And still, I still go with nail polish. I still have my binder on. I can change my underwear in the gym. And probably my binder wasn't so dysphoric, but I'm still accepted as a guy here. So it's like, I understand that I do have the privilege that I pass. The country is sane. The place I am is sane. And Yeah. Obviously, I don't know. Maybe when I grow out my hair, it'll be worse. But then I was talking to a classmate of mine, and he replied to me today that he has it halfway through his back already. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. How fast does your hair grow, dude? And yeah, um, I just feel like I understand going back to the non-binary person's point about gender non-conforming. It means that you're breaking social, like gender perspectives or rigid rules for your assigned gender or the gender which you identify as and actually are, or sex, if that's your wording. And being gender non-conforming, according to them, is just breaking everything, which I do agree we need to do. But at the same time, I feel like we really need to address the really weird gender non-conforming people. And and in general, there's a lot of discussions, especially in the trans guy forums, like that I hate feminine trans men, I hate masculine trans men, I hate non-binaries, I hate binary, and it's really getting out of hand on Reddit. And I'm guessing the cases online probably the same. So what I wanted to say was, I really feel weird uh, because I feel like men who do makeup just for themselves don't have enough representation. And that's why, for instance, I always do makeup unless it's like a topic which I think requires me without makeup. So yeah, today it's makeup. And just to finish it off, um, I understand that there's a lot of genders, like who knows how many. And but we still, just like we need to accept the non-binary genders, we need to accept the binary genders in every form. Like it shouldn't be rigid in any way. So yeah, I really hope that something happens and every time you wear a lipstick, like even I got asked, are you non-binary because you're wearing a dress today? And I was like, no. I was like, what's wrong with my velvet long pink dress to the floor? To be real, it was like a prom dress or something, but it was really cute. Maybe I'll wear it someday for the camera. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you if you got this far. I know I've been ranting a lot, but I really wanted to get my points across. And also, if you have nothing to do this Christmas, please read. Please watch some gay movies. And stay away from really bad ones. Like, I'm sorry, like every time I see Love Simon reference or God's Own Country, I want to like literally take Murakami, which doesn't even have a lot of gay characters, and just like shove it in their face. So I do understand that we don't only read gay literature, but it's like there's Kerouac, and for instance, one of my favorite books of all time is by Kerouac and Burroughs, and the hippos were boiled in their tanks, which also inspired a really good movie with Daniel Radcliffe and I forgot the other guy. I'm really sorry. I can't remember it from the top of my head now. He played Lucien Carr. Anyway, I really need to revise my beatnik history. Regardless, please be smarter, accept more people, and be kind and have a happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's in 3 days because I'm filming this after 1 a.m. So, and I'll come back for the New Year. Yeah, I'll be in time for the New Year. So I will wish more things because I'm Russian. Santa comes to our house twice. Anyway, thank you.